My ex-girlfriend and my girlfriend stood in front of me. What happened next changed everything. The moment those words became my reality, I felt my chest tighten like the air had been sucked out of the room. I stood frozen, my current girlfriend on one side, my ex on the other, both of them looking directly at me. Their eyes met briefly, each of them forcing polite smiles, but the tension hanging between us was undeniable, sharp enough to cut through the silence. My heart pounded so hard, I thought they could hear it. I had always imagined these two worlds would remain separate, my past sealed away, my present steady and safe. But here they were, colliding in front of me, dragging me into a storm I wasn't ready for. My girlfriend squeezed my hand, grounding me for a second. Her touch was warm, familiar, a silent reassurance that I wasn't alone. Yet, the moment my ex's eyes locked on mine, that warmth faltered. It was as if I had been pulled back in time, back into memories I thought I had buried deep. With her stare came a flood of everything I never wanted to revisit. The late-night fights, the apologies that never healed, the way she made me feel like I was never enough. I tried to keep my face calm, but inside I was unraveling. My mind replayed the way things had ended with my ex, painfully, messily, with words said that I could never take back. We hadn't really closed the book. We had just slammed it shut mid-sentence and walked away. And now, seeing her again, I realized that unfinished business had never truly left me. It had been waiting, silently, in the shadows of my heart, until this very moment. She tilted her head slightly, that same half-smile she used to wear when she knew she had me hooked. My girlfriend noticed. I felt her grip tighten, not out of affection this time, but out of tension. I could sense her silently asking me questions she didn't have the courage to voice yet. Who is she to you now? Why does this feel so heavy? Why can I sense a story I haven't heard? I swallowed hard, forcing a smile, pretending everything was fine. But I couldn't escape the truth. I was exposed. Completely exposed. My past was standing inches away from my present, and there was no wall between them anymore. I remembered how I had convinced myself I had moved on, that my ex was just a name, a closed chapter. But looking at her now, I realized I had only patched over the wounds, never really healed them. And now those old scars were being ripped open in front of the one person I thought I had finally built a safe future with. The air was thick, every second dragging like an eternity. I felt like I was standing on a fault line, the ground trembling beneath me, waiting for it to split apart. My girlfriend leaned closer, her voice low, asking softly, "Are you okay?" I nodded quickly, but it wasn't the truth. The truth was that I was terrified. Terrified of what this meeting meant. Terrified of what would unravel next, and terrified that maybe, just maybe, I wasn't as free from my past as I thought. And in that surreal moment, as both women stood in front of me, I realized something life-altering. This was not just a chance encounter. This was a test of where my heart truly belonged, a test of whether I had really let go, or if I was still chained to the ghost of a love that once broke me. The night stretched on, but every second felt like a needle pricking deeper into my skin. We were standing together, the three of us, pretending everything was normal when it was anything but. My ex spoke casually, her voice carrying that same familiar rhythm I used to know so well. To anyone else, her words would have sounded harmless. Small talk, polite conversation. But to me, every syllable was loaded. There were undertones, little reminders of the bond we once shared, subtle daggers disguised as innocent remarks, and I caught them all. Every single one. She mentioned a restaurant we used to go to, laughing lightly as if it were just another story. But I felt the sting, sharp and precise, because I remembered those nights vividly. Nights when I thought we were building something unshakable. Nights that had ended in silence, betrayal, and a version of me I never wanted to become again. My girlfriend's hand rested in mine, and I could feel her fingers tighten just slightly. She knew. She didn't know the details, but she sensed it. The history. The unspoken words hanging between us. At one point, she leaned closer to me and whispered, "Are you okay?" Her eyes were searching mine, worried, questioning, and I wanted to reassure her. I wanted to say, yes, I'm fine. But the truth was twisting inside me. I wasn't fine. Because the ghost of my past wasn't just haunting me. It was standing right there in front of me, alive, breathing, and smiling like she still had some hidden claim on me. My ex kept talking, carefully threading pieces of our history into the conversation. She mentioned songs we used to love, places we had gone, memories we once called ours. She didn't say them with bitterness. No. She said them with a smile, like she was pulling me back without even needing to try. And as much as I wanted to roll my eyes, to dismiss it, I couldn't deny the sting of nostalgia cutting through me. I hated myself for it, but I felt it. Memories are dangerous like that. They don't just sit quietly in the past. They claw their way out at the worst times, reminding you of the person you once were. My girlfriend stayed silent, her jaw tight, her posture stiff. I could feel her fighting to keep her ground, to not let this woman shake her. But I also saw it, the insecurity creeping into her eyes. She was questioning me, questioning us, even though I hadn't given her any reason to doubt before. And that realization gutted me, because my ex wasn't just poking at me. She was unraveling the foundation of the relationship I had now. The emotional weight pressed heavier with every passing moment. I thought back to the heartbreak my ex had caused, the late nights I spent waiting for texts that never came, the lies she wrapped in sweet excuses, the promises that turned into nothing. I remembered swearing to myself that I would never look back, that I would never let her poison me again. And yet here I was, feeling those same old wounds ache as if they had never healed. I realized then that I had never truly closed the chapter with her. I had slammed it shut, sure, but the pages were still left unfinished. And now, standing here, those unfinished words were bleeding into my present, staining the love I was supposed to be protecting with my whole heart. It was in that moment I understood. I wasn't just standing between two women. I was standing between two versions of myself. The broken man I had once been with her, and the man I was trying so hard to become with the woman holding my hand now. And I knew, sooner or later, I would have to choose which version of myself I was going to fight for. The air grew heavier with every word my ex spoke, like she knew exactly which strings to pull to make me unravel. At first, she had kept things subtle, memories wrapped in casual remarks, smiles laced with hidden meaning, but now she dropped the disguise altogether. She looked straight at me, then at my girlfriend, and asked questions she had no right to ask. Questions about our relationship, about little details only someone from the inside would know. "So, does he still hate mornings?" she asked with a laugh, her tone playful but her eyes sharp. "Back then, I used to practically drag him out of bed." She didn't even look at me when she said it. She looked at my girlfriend, as if to prove a point. as if to stake a claim. My stomach twisted, my throat went dry, my girlfriend forced a smile, but her hand slipped from mine. It didn't stop there. My ex leaned in, smirking as she asked, "Does he still make that face when he's annoyed? You know, the one where he clenches his jaw but pretends he's fine? I used to tease him about it all the time." Each word was a dagger. Not because they were true, but because they were intimate. They were pieces of me I had once willingly given her. Pieces that now belonged in the past, but she was dragging them into the present, laying them on the table like trophies. My girlfriend's eyes flicked toward me, searching, questioning. She didn't say it out loud, but the thought was clear. Why does she still know you this well? Why do I feel like a stranger right now? I wanted to explain, to defend myself, to push my ex back into the shadows where she belonged. But the words stuck in my throat. My silence was louder than any excuse I could have made, and it made everything worse. My girlfriend's expression hardened, her shoulders tensing. She wasn't angry at my ex. She was angry at me, and I couldn't even blame her. Memories rushed back, sharper than ever. I remembered the lies that tore me apart when I was with my ex, the endless excuses, the nights she disappeared, the promises she broke without hesitation. I remembered how her selfishness always outweighed my devotion, how I poured myself into her until there was nothing left of me. Walking away from her had been one of the hardest, most painful decisions of my life, but it was also the one that saved me. And yet here she was, undoing all that progress in minutes. Not because I wanted her back, but because my failure to close that chapter was now spilling into my present. My girlfriend sat there, growing smaller by the second, questioning not just me, but us. Her silence wasn't like mine. It was loaded with doubt, with a creeping sense of betrayal I hadn't meant to cause. The weight of it crushed me. I saw clearly, maybe for the first time, how the ghost of my past relationship had followed me into this one. I thought I had left her behind when I walked away, but I hadn't. I had just buried the wreckage and hoped it would never resurface. Now it had, and the cracks it created in my current relationship were spreading fast. For the first time, I realized it wasn't just about her anymore. It was about me. About the scars I carried, the words I never said, the closure I never found. And as much as I wanted to protect the love I had now, I couldn't ignore the truth. Those cracks were my fault. It happened so fast, I didn't even see it coming. One moment, my ex was smirking, making her usual jabs at me, and the next, she dropped a bomb that sucked the air out of the room. She leaned back casually, her tone dripping with false innocence. "Oh, does she know about the time you almost moved in with me? How we were planning it before everything blew up?" The world stopped. My girlfriend's head snapped toward me, her eyes wide with shock. My chest tightened as if the air itself had turned solid. That part of my past, something I had intentionally buried, something I never told her, was now laid bare in front of both of us. It wasn't cheating. It wasn't betrayal in the way my ex wanted it to seem. But it was a truth I had kept in the dark. A chapter I had closed without ever letting my girlfriend know the full story. I thought I was protecting her from it, protecting us. But now, in the silence that followed, it only looked like deceit. My girlfriend's face said it all. The confusion, the hurt, the unspoken question burning in her eyes. "What else haven't you told me?" I tried to speak, to explain, to say that it had been nothing more than a fleeting plan, something I walked away from long before I ever met her. but my words felt hollow, falling flat between us. I could see the distance forming, brick by brick, as she pulled herself away from me, not physically, but emotionally. That invisible thread we shared felt like it was fraying right in front of my eyes. And then, the cruelest part, the smile on my ex's face. She wasn't even hiding it anymore. The satisfaction, the twisted joy she got from watching everything unravel. She hadn't come back to find closure or forgiveness. She hadn't come back because she missed me. She came to destroy what I had built, to make sure I couldn't be happy without her. And the worst part? I let her. By never truly closing that door, by keeping pieces of the past tucked away, I gave her the weapon she needed to strike. I thought I was moving on, but really I was just hiding the cracks and hoping no one would notice. My girlfriend's voice finally broke the silence. It wasn't loud. It wasn't angry. It was soft, but sharp enough to pierce me completely. Why didn't you ever tell me? I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. Because deep down, I knew the truth. I didn't tell her because I was afraid. Afraid that being honest about the messy parts of my past would make her see me differently. Afraid it would taint the love we had. And now, that very fear had come true. My ex leaned back, satisfied, like she had accomplished her mission. My girlfriend's hand slipped completely from mine, and in that instant, I knew something had broken. Not because I cheated, not because I lied about us, but because I had hidden enough of my past that it made her question the present. And in that silence, I realized the cruel truth. My ex didn't need me back. She only needed me broken. I reached a breaking point I never thought I would. Standing there with both of them staring at me, one with smug satisfaction, the other with silent betrayal, I finally felt the weight of everything collapse inside me. For too long, I had tried to keep everyone else comfortable. I hid parts of myself to avoid conflict. I bent over backward to keep the peace. But in doing so, I lost myself. My voice shook as I finally spoke. But for once, the words didn't feel weak. They felt honest. I looked at my ex first. You don't have power over me anymore. Not my past, not my future. Whatever we had is over. And the fact that you came here just to stir chaos proves I made the right choice in leaving you behind. Her smirk faltered, if only for a second, but I didn't wait to see if she recovered it. I turned to my girlfriend. My heart hurt because I loved her. I really did. But love without honesty isn't love. It's a performance. And I was done performing. I should have told you everything from the start, I said quietly. But the truth is, if our relationship can't survive the shadows I've kept buried, then maybe it was never as strong as I wanted it to be. Love built on half-truths can't last. Her eyes filled with tears, and for a moment I wanted to take it all back, to reassure her, to fix it. But deep down, I knew this wasn't about saving us anymore. It was about saving myself. I had been living in a cycle of guilt, fear, and silence, and it was eating me alive. So I made the hardest choice of all. I didn't choose her. I didn't choose my ex. I chose me. And then I walked away. There was no dramatic shouting, no final plea. Just the sound of my footsteps growing fainter while the weight I had carried for years finally began to lift. The pain was sharp, raw, and unrelenting, but it came with clarity. I had been trying to stitch a future on top of wounds that were never healed, and all it did was bleed through everything I touched. In the weeks that followed, the silence became my teacher. I sat with my pain instead of running from it. I went to therapy, and for the first time in years, I spoke the truth without fear of being judged. I reconnected with parts of myself I had abandoned, my hobbies, my old friends, even my laughter. Slowly, I learned what it felt like to love my own company. The betrayal still hurt. It probably always will, in some way. But that hurt no longer defined me. What defined me was the strength I found in walking away, in choosing myself when no one else did. And that was the real twist in my story. The freedom I gained wasn't from being loved by someone else. It was from finally realizing I was enough on my own.